Okie dokie, good morning everybody and welcome to the first licensing committee of 2026. I hope everybody had a great Christmas and New Year. My name is Councillor James Gibson. I'm chair of the licensing committee, as I'm sure most people here will know. Just a reminder that we are webcast because it's a full licensing committee meeting as opposed to a subcommittee meeting. And just one announcement, which is a thank you to Councillor Farley for his work on the committee. He's no longer on the committee as he's now the whip for the Labour group. And we welcome Councillor McCluskey to the although he's not here today, but we welcome him in his absence and thank you for stepping in. We're going to go around now and ask members to introduce themselves, starting with Councillor Martin.
Good morning, Councillor Lisa Martin for Round Hayward.
Good morning everybody, Councillor Jordan Bowden. I also represent Round Hayward.
Good morning everybody, Councillor Asghar Ali representing Gibton and Hare Hills.
Good morning all. Councillor Sharon Hamilton, Moortown and Meanwood Ward.
Good morning, Councillor Kate Haig, Farnley and Wortley Ward.
Councillor Stephen Holroyd, Ardsley and Robin Hood Ward.
Councillor Norma Harrington, Wetherby Ward.
Morning, Jane Senior, Councillor from Morley South.
Good morning, Emma Pogson Golden for Middleton Ward.
Good morning, Councillor Neil Buckley, All Woodley Ward.
Morning, Councillor Rick Downs, Otley and Eden Ward.
Smashing, welcome everybody. Right, so we're going to go round and introduce officers, please, and guests. I just want to start by welcoming Malcolm Hope to the committee as our legal advisor, who's replaced Rob. And again, a massive thanks for Rob for his years of service to the committee and to the council. We wish him all the best at his new position. Malcolm, over to you.
Morning, Malcolm Hope, barrister from legal.
Morning everyone, Dan Byrne, Public Health Lead for Drugs and Alcohol.
Morning all, Dave Good, West Yorkshire Fire and Rescue Service.
Morning, Dan Terry, West Yorkshire Fire and Rescue Service, Operational Resilience Team.
Chief Inspector Ireland, West Yorkshire Police.
Sinead Howell, Yorkshire Ambulance Service.
Morning, Phoebe Close, Sustainability Manager for Festival Republic.
Good morning, Melvin Ben, Managing Director of Festival Republic.
Just 2 seconds, I'm going to turn the volume up. We're having a bit of trouble up here hearing everybody.
Okay, good morning, Melvin Ben, Managing Director of Festival Republic.
2 seconds. Is that better? Is that up?
I don't know yet. It did sound it with Melvin.
He did, but he went closer as well. If everybody I'll lead by example. Let's get a little bit closer to the microphone so everybody can hear. And if you put your head closer to the microphone, up here we'll be able to hear you. Thank you very much. Right, okay.
Good morning everyone, Georgie Hanrahan, Event Manager, Festival Republic.
Good morning, Hannah Corrigan, Licensing Coordinator, Festival Republic.
Good morning, Vanessa Holroyd, Senior Environmental Health Officer, Leeds City Council.
Good morning, Seamus Kennedy, Leeds City Council, Entertainment Licence and Enforcement.
Good morning, Matthew Nelson, on behalf of Entertainment Licensing.
Good morning everybody, John Mulcahy, Chief Officer Elections and Regulatory, Licensing and Environmental Health fall within my remit.
Yeah, good morning everyone, it's Nick Gardner from the traffic team at Leeds City Council.
Morning everyone, it's Rachel Jowett from Emergency Planning and SAG Support.
Okie dokie, Helen, if we go through agenda items number 1 to 5, please.
Thank you, Chair. Under agenda item number 1, there are no appeals against refusal of inspection of documents. Under agenda item 2, the exclusion of the press and public. Although there are no items on the agenda which do exclude the press and public, members will have noted that the report on item 7, the Leeds Festival, does highlight the committee might want to consider it appropriate to go into a private session to discuss any matters which might fall into the financial or business affairs or a particular person of the organisation, or if the information relates to any action proposed to be taken or taken in respect of the prevention or investigation of prosecution of crime. So those matters would fall under Access to Information Procedure Rules 10.43 and 7. So I'd ask the committee if at any point they think that they need to discuss something in private to indicate, and we will ask the committee to resolve to go into private session. Thank you. Under agenda item number 3, there's no formal late items of business. Under agenda item number 4, can I ask members to declare any interest that they may have at this point? And I can't see any, thank you. Agenda item number 5 is apologies, which we've received from Councillor McCluskey, and also just to note that Councillor Seary is caught in traffic, so will be a little bit late. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you so much, Helen. Agenda item number 6, minutes of the previous meeting held on the 25th of November. Any matters arising, or are we happy to approve them? I'm seeing kind of some nods, so I'll take that as approved, in which case we move on to agenda item number 7, which is Leeds Festival 2025. Welcome it. Sorry? No, it's the review of the debrief of 2025, I presume. Okay, 25/26, if you're going to be pedantic, Councillor Martin. Okay, Malcolm and team, over to you. Thank you very much for coming.
Sorry, Melvin.
Sorry, Melvin.
That's okay, Chair. That's okay, Chair. Where do I start? Sorry, you've taken me by surprise there, actually. Good morning, councillors, Chair. Yes, I guess a review of 25, and I look forward to 26 to a degree. 25 was a very good year for us in lots of respects, I think. We, in particular, introduced a couple of new things, really, that were very well received. The bespoke campsites that we introduced in respect of pre-registration for campsites for general admission customers as such, as opposed to premium camping customers where you had to pay for additional facilities. This was for general admission customers, and we introduced 3 or 4 new ones. We already had an eco camp. Obviously, we always had an accessibility camp. In addition to that, we introduced a solo camp. We introduced a quiet camp, a calmer camp, and we introduced a glitterball camp, which was primarily aimed at, I guess, female LGBT, non-rowdy crowd, I guess. All of those were really, really well received, and we intend to expand on those this year. In addition, we brought in additional activity around safeguarding with safer spaces, again, which I think, although there was a little bit of conversation around with existing organisations and the police on some of the reporting, I think the intent is good and very much something that we intend to build on in our sort of commitment to violence against women and girls, really. Other than that, I'll hand over to Georgie to do a full debrief. Georgie, thank you.
Thank you, Melvin, and thank you, Chair and Councillors, for your time today and for giving us the opportunity to debrief Leeds Festival 2025. Just a brief overview. Leeds Festival was operational from the 20th of August to the 25th of August, with our main entertainment taking place on the Friday through to the Sunday. The entertainment that we had in 2025 saw the likes of Travis Scott and D Block Europe on the Friday, Hosier and Chapel Roan on the Saturday, and Sunday seeing Bring Me the Horizon and Limp Bizkit, along with other amazing acts. In terms of 2025 updates, sorry, can everyone hear me properly? Is this good volume? Okay. In terms of 2025 updates within the arena, we introduced a new stage called the Reload stage, and this is where we held our silent disco. And we also offered a new program of the silent karaoke, which was also taken place at our Orc stage, providing a bit more variety of late night entertainment for our customers. As Melvin just touched on, the campsites were where we saw our biggest transformation in 2025. We completely delivered a new for our customers with upgraded toilet and shower facilities and enhanced activities and programs within these spaces, including run clubs, meditations, yoga. And we also introduced Get Ready With Me stations, where we offered a place for our customers to get ready for the day ahead. We had mirrors, hair straighteners, hair dryers in these Get Ready With Me stations as well, and they were really popular in 2025. I guess further going on with the campsites that Melvin has just touched on, our field campsites was our classic, Leeds main campsite, open to anyone with a weekend ticket. And our bespoke campsites included the Meadow, which was our eco-focused campsite for like-minded attendees who pledged to keep the campsite tidy and to take their tents home, with 94% of tents successfully being taken home from this campsite. We had the Garden, which was our calm campsite, introduced as a replacement for our quiet camp that we had in 2024. And this offered a relaxed environment for those seeking a bit more of a laid-back camping experience. And the Glitterball Grove, which was a welcoming and inclusive space for festival goers looking to camp within a supportive and like-minded community, promoting a respectful and positive atmosphere. As well as our Valley campsite, which was our solo campsite for those attending by themselves or in a pair that wanted to meet new people at the festival. The Meadow, Garden, Glitterball Grove and the Valley were all registered campsites where customers needed to be registered to gain access, and they received a separate wristband to gain access to that campsite. In terms of operations, as Melvin has touched on, Safer Spaces were involved in the 2025 festival, who are an organisation working to prevent domestic abuse and sexual violence against women and girls at festivals and events through education, training and providing immediate specialist support. Safer Spaces had an engagement space on site, as well as having outreach teams throughout the festival. And we also introduced Stamp Out Spiking to 2025 event, who are an organisation that highlight the dangers of spiking and offer effective and practical solutions to our customers to keep them safe from the harms of this. They also had an engagement space within the arena where they offered free cup and can covers to our customers as well. Moving on to a bit more detail, in terms of our QR code system that captured the data of 16 and 17-year-olds attending with or without an adult. This was again implemented in 2025 using the same system that we had previously, and this data was shared at our daily SAG meetings. In terms of bars and alcohol, our main bars were again run by Central Fusion. We implemented a Challenge 21 policy across the site, as well as successfully having our ID checks at bars continuing in 2025. Alcohol compliance was managed by the bar operator Central Fusion, as well as the FR licensing office. Moving on to environmental health, in terms of noise monitoring took place during the hours of entertainment by both ARIA Acoustics and Leeds City Council environmental health officers, and all noise readings were compliant throughout the event. In terms of water safety, water testing occurred during the build as well as during the show, and all samples returned a clear result. And food safety, there were 89 food traders at the 2025 festival, with Go Safe Events contracted again as our independent environmental health officers undertaking food hygiene inspections. Moving on to traffic, we continued our traffic subcommittee and our taxi subcommittee meetings, both in the pre-planning phase and post, and we have held our debriefs with both committees. The roadworks on the A1M, we did see some issues there causing some delays. However, these were discussed in detail in our traffic subcommittee debrief a few weeks back now. We did make improvements to the free Wi-Fi that we installed in the Pudo area in 2025, which worked well. And we also made improvements to the layout of the taxi area to enhance access and flow within this space for taxis. And this received positive feedback in our taxi subcommittee debrief. We also continued our successful shuttle bus and big green coach operations in 2025. In terms of fire safety, Rapid Fire returned as our on-site safety provider in 2025, with West Yorkshire Fire Service having a representative in event control, and we continued our ban on campfires and disposable stoves and barbecues. In relation to medical, Elite EMS were our medical provider again in 2025, and we continued our strong working relationship with YAS, both pre and during the show. And we also had our X-ray facilities on site again to alleviate the pressure on external resources. In terms of security and stewarding, we had our enhanced drug detection operations successfully continuing in 2025, as well as our Tiger teams within the campgrounds. We had PNC checks completed pre-event and on site, and we also held our security working group meetings pre-event, as well as having daily briefings throughout the show. In terms of safeguarding, we continued our safeguarding subcommittee meetings, both pre-event, and we also had our daily safeguarding meetings during the show. Our safeguarding coordinators were available 24 hours a day, having both a day and a night team. We continued our focus on the prevention of violence against women and girls, as well as our support services, with support services on site focusing on this, including the SARC, which is the Sexual Assault Referral Centre, in conjunction with West Yorkshire Police. As we've touched on earlier, Safer Spaces, who are working to prevent domestic abuse and sexual violence against women and girls at events, and providing education, training and immediate special support with their engagement space on site. Stamp Out Spiking, again highlighting the dangers of spiking and offering effective and practical solutions to keep people safe from this with their engagement space on site and their offering of the cup and can covers. And we also had Safe Gigs for Women on site again this year, promoting female safety and raising awareness of unwanted attention at gigs. And they also had an engagement space on site again this year. We did further develop our prevention of violence against women and girls campaign, which was shown on our stage screens during changeovers, as well as on our social media platforms and on our festival app with push notifications also. This included information on what to look out for in a victim, what to look out for in a perpetrator, how to safely intervene, statistics surrounding this, and also where to get support on site. And this messaging was also tailored to our staff, with these messages located in our staff areas. In terms of our other resources on site, as you can see on the screen here, we had our help map, which was erected across the site, including in all of our air hubs and our Get Ready With Me stations, and this allowed customers to clearly locate our wellbeing and safeguarding facilities, and also what other resources we had available on site. This included our medical provision, having a main medical centre, as well as positioning at the main stage and the Chevron stage. We had our wellbeing spaces, one within the arena and one within the campsites. We had our campsite managers in each campsite offering 24-hour assistance. Our air hubs and our Get Ready With Me stations, again, providing 24-hour assistance, information and response. The SARC, the Sexual Assault Referral Centre, Safer Spaces, again, working to prevent domestic abuse and sexual violence against women and girls at festivals. Festival Angels, providing roaming teams, a safe space hub, a prayer cafe, as well as lost property services. We had Oxfam on site again in 2025, who are a charity tackling poverty and raising money for their cause with an engagement space in the event. As well as Leeds, providing drug and alcohol support services, the Samaritans providing mental health support and suicide prevention services, the Salvation Army tackling homelessness and providing employment support and holding youth groups. Again, Stamp Out Spiking, highlighting the dangers of spiking and offering effective and practical solutions to keep people safe from the harms of this. Narcotics Anonymous, providing drug support services as well as daily meetings on site. Safe Gigs for Women, again promoting female safety and raising awareness of unwanted attention at gigs. Alcoholics Anonymous, providing alcohol support services as well as daily meetings on site, as well as our sensory calm space within the arena. Our air hubs returned in 2025, providing information and support and signposting to our wellbeing facilities on site. This year, we also introduced, as mentioned, our Get Ready With Me stations, and these were also staffed by community groups and charities, providing the same support as we do in our air hubs. The main role really is to provide an extra point of contact for our customers, supported by friendly and approachable staff for anyone who may just need a chat or reassurance or help with accessing further support. In 2025, these community groups and charities included Festival Angels, Andy's Man Club, S-Safe, Age UK and Val Volunteers, and we had 9 air hubs and Get Ready With Me stations in the campsites providing 24-hour assistance and 1 air hub in the arena. In terms of our safety messaging and campaigns, in 2025, we maintained a strong focus on the safety and welfare of both our patrons and staff. And we've delivered multiple safety messaging and campaigns, both pre-event and during the event. And these included our Look Out for Each Other campaign, which promoted safety around drugs and alcohol, consent, and keeping an eye out for one another. These were shown on stage screens, on our social media platforms, as well as on our festival app, with push notifications also being sent throughout the event. This was created in consultation with the FACT team, the Festival Advice Campaign team, and the data that we received from our post-show survey actually showed that 80% of customers saw the Look Out for Each Other campaign. In terms of our prevention of violence against women and girls, we had a campaign that focused on messaging to both patrons and staff with, again, tips on what to look out for and how to intervene, and what resources that we have on site to support those that may be victims to this. And these were also shown on stage screens, again, on our social media platforms and on our festival app, as well as within our staff areas. We also continued our Ask for Angela campaign with these posters being located at bars and in toilets, with all of our staff being briefed on what actions to take. And we continued our modern slavery messaging aiming to reduce labour exploitation, providing information on how to get help, and these were also located in our staff toilets. In terms of planning for 2026, so we will be introducing day tickets on the Thursday night for those who want to attend the Thursday night performances. We will also continue to uphold our ongoing commitment to the development of our prevention of violence against women and girls campaigns and the support services that we have on site, embedding them across our event planning, communications and our on-site operations to promote safety, awareness and appropriate pathways for support. We'll continue our air hubs and our Get Ready With Me stations, having these positioned throughout the event. And we will also further develop our bespoke campsites after the success of these in 2025. We will continue to develop our sustainability initiatives and the Take Your Tent Home campaign. And we will also continue our subcommittee meetings in 2026, including our traffic, taxi, our Leeds Festival Working Group, our safeguarding and our sustainability subcommittee meetings. In relation to sustainability, I'd like to now hand over to Phoebe Close, our Sustainability Manager, to discuss the sustainability report. Thank you.
Thank you, Georgie, and thank you, Chair and Councillors. Yes, I'm going to take you through the key findings of our sustainability from 2025. And first, I wanted to highlight our Look Out for Our Planet campaign, which is twinned with the Look Out for Each Other campaign that Georgie has just spoken through. This is aimed at everyone on site, including customers, but also crew and festival organisers, really trying to incentivise everyone to see what action they can take for the environment. This goes out through the build-up, but then also during the festival as well via the app and messaging on the arena screens. To go through our key impact areas and first look at emissions. Around power, we continue to use 100% HVO, which is an alternative to fossil fuels. And this massively reduces our emissions on site, and we saw a reduction compared to 2024 by 3 tonnes of carbon dioxide, which helps us as our overall aims look towards 2030 with our net zero targets. Regarding travel, as Georgie mentioned, we continued with some green, sustainable travel options, including Big Green Coach, and included the shuttle buses from Leeds City Centre, which saw really good numbers of over 17,000 people using them. We had a dedicated lift share page, which encouraged people to car share and fill up their cars, so we don't see individuals using single cars coming to the site. And regarding crew and festival organisers, everyone has to submit where they're travelling from and how they're travelling, so we can understand what impact our crew travel is also having on our emission targets. Moving on to resource efficiency and looking at our waste from 2025, we saw an overall reduction in waste compared to 2024 of 62%. At just over 240 tonnes from the duration of the festival. Regarding where this went, we saw 66% of it diverted, which includes recycling and compostable waste. As always, we had no waste that went to landfill, and we'll continue with this as part of our Green Nation Charter. Regarding how we achieved this on site, we went back to a 3-bin system in line with simpler recycling regulation, which encouraged people to sort their waste at point of creation. So encouraging both customers and crew to sort their waste and use our recycling streams. This was also true in the campsites where we had recycling points, which allowed you to sort your recycling into 5 different waste streams. Regarding plastic, we saw a significant reduction in single-use plastic used on site this year, largely due to the bars, which saw a 96% reduction in single-use plastic used, as all drinks and soft drinks and alcoholic drinks were served in cans or paper cups. We had a green team provision in the campsites as well this year, which were roaming and supporting with all of our sustainability initiatives. And encouraging everyone to take their tent home and being the champions of the Look Out for Our Planet campaign. A key part of this was entering people into our Recycle to Win initiative, which incentivises and rewards people who are doing the right thing in the campsites and recycling and keeping tidy campsites. And we saw over 1,000 people engage with that initiative, which was really great this year to see. A little bit more on our campsites and then moving on to the salvage as well around waste. So as Georgie mentioned, we have the Meadow back this year as our eco camp, and we had 94% of tents taken home in the Meadow, which is a really great result. We also introduced new for 2025 a initiative called Take It Home Rewards, which we did in collaboration with Co-op. And this was giving vouchers out to anyone on the Sunday and Monday who was actively seen to be either taking their tent home or donating their tent at one of our donation points. And we rewarded 5,000 customers through this initiative. Prior to the show, we also put out our tent guide, which encouraged people to think first about borrowing or renting a tent rather than buying a tent. And this is trying to encourage people to see the value in their tent and not see it as a single-use item. And as I mentioned, from Sunday, all of the air hubs had clear signage for donation points, so people could understand that if they didn't want to take their equipment, tents, any leftover food home with them, they could donate it and it would be redistributed with one of our groups. Specifically then looking at the salvage operation, so we ran this on the Monday. This year we had 435 people come and salvage, which was a significant number, and they salvaged 9.2 tonnes of material, which slightly fell from 2024. You can see some of the numbers on the left-hand side of what that looks like in terms of items. A couple of things that we changed this year around the salvage. We firstly did a focus group with Leeds salvage groups earlier in the summer, and they gave us some guidance on how they would like us to run the salvage operation and what we could improve around both the process before and during. From this, we did change our application process and make it more clear for groups who wanted to come onto site and salvage. This included allowing group applications and also allowing people to sign up for something that we called early salvage. This was on the Monday morning, so ahead of the main salvage operation. We had a smaller group come in of about 22 people. They were on the campsites from 10 a.m. and had full access to those campsites. And their main goal was to both support with our donation points and then also be an extra point of communication with people and customers in the campsite to encourage our take it home message. We got really good feedback from this campaign, and it is something that we're looking to do again in 2026. And then finally, just to highlight some of the additional partnerships and engagement we have on site. So we had new arena screen animations for our Look Out for Our Planet campaign. And this was highlighting the initiatives that people could get involved with, and also some key messaging around waste sorting, for example, and vape disposal. We had two key groups back that we've had for previous years. Climate Live were back with their big pink bus, and they had some amazing talks and acts that were performing. And they also supported in the Meadow campsite with a range of eco workshops, which were really, really successful, and they had great numbers. And then we had Music Declares Emergency back as well in the arena, where they were highlighting their No Music on Our Dead Planet campaign and signing people up to their initiative. And then finally, this year we had Material Focus as a collaborator for the first time, working with them on their Recycle Your Electricals campaign, where they're really focusing on disposable vapes and removing them from the general waste streams, providing key kind of separate waste disposal points for vapes specifically. And they were dotted across the campsite and the arena. And we did also have a video on the main screen highlighting that. That's it, everything from me. Thank you, Georgie.
Thank you, Phoebe, and thank you, Chair.
Great, thank you so much for a very thorough presentation, as always. Matthew, is there anything you should have introduced the report, and I apologise. Is there anything that you do need to say?
Sorry, I was going to interrupt, but then Festival Republic got into full flow. There's very from the report. It's all included in the report. That's it. Thank you, Chair.
Great, thank you. As you know, I have my list that I put together in 2023 following the agreements that we'd made in 2023. I noticed that most of the things that was agreed in 2023 are still in place, but I just wanted to double check on a couple of points. Do you have a figure for 16 and 17-year-olds attending the festival last year? And is the system still in place that was agreed in 2023, that anybody that sort of didn't meet, you had the challenge 25 in place. Anybody that sort of didn't meet that challenge upon entry of the site and didn't have a form of ID such as passport, driving license would be counted as 16 or 17-year-olds. Something, and I'm paraphrasing here, and it might be slightly different, but that agreement was in place, and I want to see whether that has been maintained and whether you have those figures for me. There are other things, and I can go through my full list, but I think I would bore everybody to tears. And as I said, most of it has been covered, so I will write to you, but I want to double check going forward that everything that we agreed is still in place. Thank you.
Chair, we do have the figures, of course, but we would prefer to share those in closed session rather than public session. In respect of the Challenge 25 and counted as 16 without appropriate identification. That system is still in place.
Okay. I'm going to open it up to councillors now for questions. So if anybody indicating? Ed, thank you. Rick.
Thank you all. Just a few queries if you need me to stop, and then I can do so. So you talked about paper cups and plastic cups. There's a particular festival up in North Leeds where they were moving to paper cups, but then they did the research and they found that strangely paper cups actually kind of have considerably more kind of impact, and so therefore they've gone back to plastic, but then they're really militant about making sure they all get recycled. Do you have any comment on that? Should just do one at a time.
Yes, that is something that we are reviewing, looking at the life cycle analysis of the different cup options. It's very dependent on where we're supplying, where the suppliers are from, and that travel mile of where you're getting your plastic and paper from. But yeah, it is something that we do consider, and we're continually reviewing our suppliers for these and looking at the overall emissions.
Councillor, again, you weren't clear whether that was single-use plastic that they were going back to or reusable plastic. Single-use plastic we are completely opposed to and wouldn't countenance in any circumstance. Reusable plastic, our previous...
Melvin, just go a bit closer. Sorry, it's
apologies, Chair.
It's probably the volume.
In respect of single-use plastic, of course, we wouldn't countenance single-use plastic. We are committed to eliminating the use of that. In respect of reusable, our previous research and advice has been that reusable cups need to be used around 10 or 11 times before they improve recycling paper cups. And unless those reusable cups have got barcodes on and are scanned and audited, etc., our fear is that they don't actually get used 10 or 11 times or more. That may change with new government legislation, which is coming in to mirror countries like Germany, where reusable cups are much more prevalent, and the washing stations, etc., are much more prevalent. But at the moment, without barcodes to be able to audit how many times a reusable cup has been used, my fear is that they don't get used all that many times, they get thrown away, and actually it's far worse.
Thank you. I'll leave this with you, but if you want to have direct contact with this retired engineer who is passionate about the impact of different things, then I can link you with him. The other one was just about salvage. So I really appreciate the dialogue and cooperation that felt at a new level with the volunteers who did that. I think this is probably a rhetorical question, but are you able to commit to deepening that dialogue with them, because they are a bit like the engineer, they are passionate about driving down salvage and they want to work with you very closely to do that. And also, I think there is a good answer to this, but I wondered if you wanted to comment on the reduced, I think it was 9 tonnes salvage this year as opposed to 12 tonnes, which could be seen as a good thing because maybe more people are taking stuff home.
Regarding contact with the salvage groups, we're definitely keen to continue to have focus groups with them, and I think we now have that open dialogue, so 100% will be continuing with that. Regarding the lower salvage amount, we see that as a good thing. That means that there's less campsite waste, and generally the salvagers were seeing that everything was collected from the campsites that they were in. So from our perspective, that's a positive thing.
I would add to that, Councillor Carlyle, that in respect of Leeds 25, we had a reduced amount of campers and greater numbers of day tickets compared to 2024, for example. This year we are likely to see a reverse of that, with a larger amount of campers and reduced day tickets. It's the nature of the lineup that dictates that. And inevitably, with less campers, it's likely that less waste gets left and therefore less salvage is available.
Thank you. And just final thing, I mean, this is looking ahead to 2026. I don't know if this is allowed, but I suppose, so a lot of the figures are going in the right direction for reduced emissions. I suppose, are you able to talk about what steps you're looking this year to kind of deepen that work?
Yes, so continuing with our Look Out for Our Planet campaign, regarding emissions specifically, we're interested in looking at power as our key impact area that we really have that control over. So we're part of a wider industry group that are looking at how you can transition even away from HVO, which is seen as a transition fuel. And then regarding more customer experience, we're deepening and thinking wider around our Take It Home message and our Look Out for Our Planet campaign.
Councillor Downs, please.
Thanks, Chair. Actually, Councillor Carlisle asked my question. It was about the salvage, and it's reassuring to hear the reason. I did wonder if it was that, but also, in addition, if the eco camp is even more successful with a greater number there taking their tents away, I would guess that that's also another reason for the reduction, which was actually 25%. You said it was a small reduction. Well, 25%, in my view, isn't small, and that sounds like a positive move. Thank you.
Councillor Riley, please.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to begin by saying, Melvin, that you need to go back to all the team and thank them. This was probably the best I've, sitting as a third year on this licensing committee, I've seen. So thank you, and take that back to the team. The introduction that you've put in place is intervention, prevention and well-being. Page 15, there are from bullet points 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. Around the private hire on Hackney, you've put in a contractor, the Wi-Fi and the lighting. My question is primarily around sustainability of this going forward. Will this be sustained going forward into the next year? And what improvements or what have we learned so far that could be implemented to make it even better, please?
Thank you, Councillor Ali. Yes, we will be committing to maintaining these improvements that we made in 2025 into 2026, and also receiving the positive feedback in the taxi subcommittee meeting shows that the engagement with that committee is a really big positive move for 2025. And in terms of what we will be looking to improve in 2026, we did, as I mentioned earlier, change the layout of the taxi area, which has identified, I think, a bit more of improvement in lighting in that space, as well as we introduce further welfare spaces down there in terms of ice cream vans and more security coverage down there. So that's what we'll be continuing in 2026. But yeah, it's just looking at those operations in terms of lighting and how we can improve that.
Councillor Ali, could I also add that, of course, I do thank my staff all of the time, including even this morning, where I thank Georgie for being here instead of being in home country of Australia and suffering this miserable weather. She replied that it's her love of Leeds Festival.
Thank you. Councillor Haig, please.
Thank you. And I'm just thinking about some of the sort of licensing issues, but also trends, especially with younger people. I appreciate not everybody who comes to Leeds Festival is young. It's certainly appropriate for all ages, but younger people have the trend seems to be less consumption of alcoholic beverages, and I just thought it'd be interesting to explore what the offer was this year in terms of alternatives to alcohol, low alcohol and alcohol-free alternatives. Thank you.
We have low alcohol areas. We have a couple of low alcohol, well, one in particular low alcohol and low and no, we call them. I think everybody calls them that, in fairness. We have one area that does that, but we have availability of low and no at all of the bars that are on site, Councillor Hay. and we promote it. We very much encourage it.
There's some really excellent alternatives these days.
Incredible alternatives, actually. Yeah, including, would you believe, some wines that are actually very nice.
Yeah, I'm doing dry January myself, so I can confirm that there are some good low alcohol or no alcohol options out there. Okay, if there's no other questions from... Yes, Councillor Pogson-Golden.
Hi, good morning. I've had a look on the reviews online and things like that, and it seems really, really positive, so congratulations, well done for that. Just a little concern of the coaches and people travelling home. Was there any issues with any of that? So I have seen one online where someone says that different zones were not visibly, allocated, so people couldn't see them, or this is only kind of one review that I've had a look at, but I just wondered if there were any problems or if there's anything that you can do next year that will help with the coaches and people getting home, not just getting there, but getting home as well.
In terms of feedback that we've received, we haven't received that, but if you're able to share that with me, then I'd definitely like to look into that. In terms of our coaches, we do provide the Leeds City Centre shuttle as well as our big green coach operations. In terms of the queuing space that we have, it's orderly. We have security down there. We have stewarding down there. It's very closely monitored by our team, especially during egress of getting people home. Sometimes there obviously can be waits for that with the amount of people that we have on site, but it is very much so a closely monitored space, and we do offer that safe way to get home, but more than happy to look into what you're reading.
Councillor Harrington, just for anybody who is watching, Councillor Harrington's not on the licensing committee but covers Leeds Fest is in her ward, so we de facto co-opt her on twice a year. Councillor Harrington, if you would like to ask questions or make comments, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Chair. I co-chair the Leeds Fest working group with Councillor Matthew Robinson, who is a Harewood councillor, but because Harewood is the ward that has the most traffic issues, and obviously the Leeds Fest is actually in my ward at Bramham. So really just to say that we appreciate the work that you put in with that committee. There were very, very few comments made at the debrief session that we held in September. One issue is that they would prefer the routing of buses to go back to the 2024 arrangements, and the only major comment really, which is slightly broader, Chair, is that the A1M roadworks were an absolute nightmare. The Aberford village suffered mostly from that, but also the Ironman arrangements were actually communicated very late to the villages, and that caused additional problems. So there were more complaints about what had happened with the Ironman arrangements than there were with Leeds Fest. So hopefully the A1M won't have any roadworks on in August this year. So I'm looking at Nick and he's shaking his head, which is fabulous. So that should alleviate some of those issues. But all I would say is that if Ironman is going to be arranged again, could they please take that into consideration and maybe use a similar kind of process? But as far as Leeds Fest goes, there were very, very few comments at all. I think there were 4 noise complaints and they were all found to be compliant. So that was absolutely amazing. So thank you very much.
Yeah, Ironman's got nothing to do with this committee, Councillor Harrington, as you know. However, Nick, you're here, you're listening. I'm happy to for you to have a chat with Councillor Harrington after this. And I did get some complaints in my ward as well, but it isn't within the remit of this committee, so we won't be discussing it further here. Right, any other questions from councillors? In which case, we'll go round our visitors, our partner agencies and stakeholder groups. If you can have a short And I mean, look, you've got the floor for as long as you want. You can, if there's stuff that you need to talk about and debrief the committee on, then, you have as much time as you'd like. However, we do have another meeting to discuss these matters, and which tends to be a longer meeting in August. And of course, work is ongoing for 2026. So I'm sure everybody in the meeting, if you don't have something important to communicate, would appreciate it if we could try and be as succinct as possible, please. I'll start with Dan and then just work our way around. And we will have a closed session actually with the with the police and to discuss the percentage of 16, 17-year-olds that attended. We'll do that at the end. Can members just nod to me if you're happy with that? That'll be really quick, but given the request made from Festival Republic, it would be appropriate. Dan, over to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair. So in terms of the Look Out for Each Other campaign that the FACT team put together, we ran it again at the festival last year. We changed the animation slightly, so there are 12 following consultation with young people, so we made them shorter, more animated with less words. We also put voiceovers on them and music beds. They were used in a similar way to previous years, so they were on the main screens during every changeover, with the hashtag and messages at the air hubs and on staff clothing. We also had the hashtag on the main stage header, on the main lineup poster, and on merchandise and temporary tattoos, with a new large format poster with campaign messages at key touch points, including those Get Ready With Me tents. We also had the campaign digitally, so we had it on the website, on the festival social media channels, as well as the festival app. In terms of a few numbers, we had 18 dedicated social media posts across the weekend, nearly 3 million impressions, so that's where this appears on people's feeds on social media. Put out 25 dedicated push notifications on the festival app. That in itself generated nearly, over 500,000 impressions, and we had 6,000 views of the safety pages. As mentioned earlier from the survey of the festival survey, we know that 80% of respondents said that they saw the campaign in the run-up to the festival, and we also had a bit more feedback from people saying generally that it was really good. They thought it was a great idea, loved it. Thought that the amount of time it was shown was right, that staff were spreading the messages, they felt safer, and we think that due to the voiceovers, a lot of people commented on the fact that they knew the messages off by heart, and they were actually saying them as the messages were being broadcast to their friends. So that's exactly what we want, raising awareness. Thank you, Chair.
Brilliant, good work. Thank you very much, Dan. I've got Dave and Dan. You're next. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Chair and councillors. Good morning, everybody. Positives from fire team, from West Yorkshire Fire Service. We'd like to thank Festival Republic for including us in the planning for the meeting. It's greatly appreciated the invitation into the event control room, which is not a requirement by yourselves, but it just shows how well it works for us as well as yourselves. It allowed effective liaison between ourselves and Rapid Fire, the on-site fire team that you had. The level of cover that they provided and the control systems that they had in place was reassuring to us, and the arrangements gave us confidence in their ability to respond to any incidents that occurred within the site. Thankfully, there were only a few minor incidents, like small bin fires, a couple of barbecues, that kind of thing, and they were dealt with very quickly and effectively, and it didn't require any of the West Yorkshire Fire Service attendance, which is a positive. A significant positive that we didn't have to attend, but that can be attributed to your proactive work as well, with the tent recycling scheme, the incentives there, the ban on vapes and disposable barbecues and campfires, which it's great for us. Looking ahead, we just look forward to hopefully working with you again in 2026, and thank you. Cheers. Thank you.
Brilliant, thank you very much, and thanks for everything you do. Dave and Dan from West Yorkshire Fire and Rescue. I've got Chief Inspector Ireland now, please.
Yeah, just echo what's already been discussed and briefed in around the traffic operation, traffic management plan, pick up and drop off, the taxi areas, the shuttle bus, all worked well, smooth ingress and egress on and off the site, no issues from us at all. In terms of reported and recorded crime, that was significantly reduced from previous years. We had a total of 58 reported crimes which were recorded. In terms of violence against women and girls, 2 offences of domestic abuse, but those incidents actually occurred elsewhere, in Kirklees actually, but were recorded on site. 3 serious sexual offences and 9 arrests were made for drug dealing, so quite a significant reduction in overall crime, and no issues of concern from us from the planning and coordination. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Inspector. And we've got Sinead now from the Yorkshire Ambulance Service.
Good morning. So from Yorkshire Ambulance Service, the level of cover in the command and control suite felt correct and proportionate this year. In 2025, it was reduced in timings perspective, and that was to reflect the reduction in camping on site. So during the pre-planning this year, we'll have a look at those and review it with if the camping is going to change. We worked very well with Elite EMS, and as such it meant that we had no transports from site by business as usual Yorkshire Ambulance Service, so no impact on us, nothing to raise for concern.
Great, thank you. And were the arrangements, was it the same company that was delivering their healthcare as you've had for previous years? Yeah, and the arrangements around ensuring that there's a smoother transition into A&E as and when needed, all that was the same? Was the X-ray on site that we'd agreed and all the other things that had been agreed in the past, yeah?
Yes, Councillor.
Great, thank you. Vanessa, please.
Thank you, Chair. From the noise perspective, our officers worked really well with the noise consultants. Any minor issues were soon rectified. There was nothing to do with any of the live music. It was only ever some minor things to do with the DJ after parties. And there were very few complaints, so well done. It's been a good event, and we've no other concerns.
Thank you very much. Seamus, please.
Thank you, Chair. Much of what I was going to feedback's already been covered, so I'm just going to keep it very succinct. No concerns of significance to report for Leeds Festival 25. The main highlight point to take away, the new campsite arrangement appeared to work exceptionally well in 25, especially for defining the correct walkways to car parks, pick-up and drop-off points, taxi and shuttle buses. LED signage above each route, that greatly assisted with post-event dispersal, and that was an ask previous years, and Festival Republic have picked up on that ask, so that was good to see. Additional illumination provided along the walkway from Squirrel Lane to the taxi area. Again, that was in our feedback previous years and was addressed for 2025 to good effect. Also, we saw an improvement in the Wi-Fi coverage on site compared to 2024, but I think mainly in part that was due to the, well, it was a perfect storm, literally, wasn't it? It was adverse weather in 2024. The VOG initiatives and the general safety campaigns have been covered in detail, and I can acknowledge and confirm what's been said and what was pushed out throughout the event. I attended a number of the safety briefings and meetings, and what was encouraging was to hear from the various providers really a compliment to on-site security and their duty of care to vulnerable persons, so that was a good piece of all-round work, I feel. Alcohol, the bars, there was a suite of signage displayed, including, you may recall, back in August there was a bit of a conversation around Challenge 25, Check 21. Check 21 was in operation, and we have no negative points to report back on what we saw in our observations. There was minimal alcohol over intoxication. There was the usual Vogue signage well displayed on the bars, free drinking water, and the offering of low and no alcohol that was readily available. 25 mil spirit measures were in use. That's the lower of the two measures available, the other being a 35 mil. And EPOS, the electronic point of sale staff were using, was very useful for recording refusals. In real time, the data was available across the site, and I know it was well received and well used by the bar staff. And just finishing off, really, there was just a little bit of feedback on the shuttle bus users, and something really going forward, looking to 2026, is toilet provisions en route and at the shuttle bus pick-up points. That would be, I think, something to address. And that's the highline points for entertainment licensing feedback, Chair.
That's great. Thank you, Seamus. That's really really useful and thorough report back. Thank you. It's Nick next. Thanks, Nick.
Thanks, Chair. From a sort of traffic management perspective, the overarching traffic management plan that we've been using for a number of years now did its job. We had debriefs with taxi subgroup and the overarching Leeds Festival subgroup, and they were fairly positive. No real major issues reported there. There is a kind of an overarching issue that isn't just relates to Leeds Festival, it relates to events in general, and it's how we put our information about the road closures on a system, and then that is shared with sat-nav providers. Unfortunately, we have no control how they use that and the algorithms that they use with that, which was causing some issues this year in that traffic was dropping off the M1 to try and get round the works on the M1. It wasn't festival traffic, and they were being told to take routes through roads that were closed. This is something from a general events perspective that we're trying to make some inroads with, but I'm reliably informed by National Highways, which sat behind, that there is no roadworks this year, so we should have a better run at it.
Brilliant. Thank you, Nick. Dave, sorry, I didn't see you at the back there. Do you want to say anything?
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I just echo what Nick has covered. We didn't have any sort of major concerns regarding the traffic management plan for this year, which again we thought worked well. The roadworks on the A1M did cause delays, and as Nick's spoken about, it was fed back sort of during the event that there was a lot of traffic leaving the motorway trying to take alternative routes, which we think was led by sat-navs. The works that were taking place have now completed. There are some further works planned in the coming months, but those works will be complete prior to the festival period, and those works are around adding additional capacity in that area, so carrying out some widening work to hopefully improve the merge at the M1 A1, which should further improve traffic flows during the festival period.
Obviously, we know about planned roadworks, but there can always be incidents on motorways which close it. Is there a way of sat-navs being informed? Because I use sat-nav myself. They can be pretty reactive to stuff about those road closures that are in place, so that we don't get, should there be something happen on the motorway, traffic being redirected sort of at the last minute.
Yes, so any incidents that take place on our network, if there is a full closure of the motorway, we feed that information to our National Traffic Information Centre, who disseminate it out, and then the sat-nav providers and sort of traffic radio, that's where they get that information from. So we feed it in, and then it's disseminated out for incidents.
I've got a question about Hackney carriages. Why can they not use the same routes as the buses, given that they are deemed public transport? I'm not talking about private hire here, Hackney carriage, given their status as public transport.
So I think we did pick this up with the taxi subgroup prior to the festival in terms of looking at alternatives. So I think that the stance from everybody else on the traffic subgroup around taxis and private hire is to use the pick up and drop off routes. We did look at alternatives in terms of routes for bringing them into site, but to use any alternatives essentially puts them against opposing traffic for pick up and drop off, I think is essentially a summary of it.
Okay, thank you very much, both of you. I've got Councillor Martin for Chief Inspector Ireland.
Yes, thank you for that. Just to go back to you, Chief Inspector, could you tell us whether the crimes that were recorded, particularly the violent crimes, show a reduction on the previous year?
Yes, I can, and yes, they do. The previous year, we had 5 offences of rape and 6 sexual offences recorded, and this year they were 2 rapes and 1 sexual offence.
Thank you. That's obviously good news, but the answer is how many should we have, and that's 0. So we look forward to whatever further measures being taken for the forthcoming year. So, but good news. Thank you.
It's worth saying we're doing some work on this. We're liaising with Festival Republic. The entertainment licensing team is to look at and the police about what provisions in place. We've heard a lot about what they've done. Today we will be reaching out to other stakeholders as well around suggestions for how we can improve safety for women and girls at the festival, and of course we'll bring that back to committee in August, and obviously we'll liaise with Festival Republic and the police before that. So it's very much at the forefront of our minds, and something that we need to do absolutely everything we can do in our power to be able to protect women and girls everywhere, including festivals. Thank you for that question, Councillor Martin. Councillor Riley, we've got Rachel left from stakeholders, and then I'm going to open it up to all councillors, and you'll be top of the list. Is that okay? Yeah. Over to you, Rachel.
Thank you. Just to say, from an emergency planning point of view, we reviewed the Festival Republic's major incident plan following the issue from 2024, and obviously recommendations have been implemented in that planning, so that was good to see. And yeah, from a SAGS support point of view, just happy to work with the Festival Republic to ensure that we've got another successful event taking place for 2026. But yeah, no other concerns to raise.
Thank you, Rachel. Councillors, if you can indicate if you'd like to ask any questions for any of our partners, but in the meantime I shall hand over to Councillor Ali.
Thank you, Chair. Nick, so you're saying that there are no roadworks on the M1, A1, so we should run to full capacity. Now, going back to the Hackney carriage using the bus lane, now there are 537 Hackney carriages. They don't all operate at one go. So you've got a 2-tier system, and that has existed for 3 years. I've just thanked Melvin, the way, they reconfigured the layout of the festival. It wasn't an easy task. It looks easy on paper, saying they've done this, and that's why it worked this year. I'm finding it extremely difficult that you're sitting on subgroups, and Hackney carriage is a public service, same as buses, yet they cannot use the bus route. But you're going to be to full capacity, and there are no roadworks. So what's stopping you from letting them use the same route?
So I'm not sure I'm best placed to answer this. It might be one for Festival Republic and to bring Nick in. My understanding is from the review that took place prior to the event, it isn't just about the route into the site, but the area that the taxis are going to. So the taxis need to get to the area at pick up and drop off, and that's why they need to follow the pick up and drop off route into site.
Yeah, just to add to that, I mean, we will continue to liaise via the taxi subgroup, and any requests that they bring to that, they will get a comprehensive response. But you refer to the bus lane, which... Bus route. Oh, the bus route, right. Yeah, well, we could look into that, but we met with the taxi subgroup and the representatives there, and that was a very positive meeting about how this event went this year, and they were particularly complimentary about the traffic management plan as well. So they didn't raise any issues regarding that, and that would have been their opportunity to do that.
We've been at this for 3 years, Nick, and I can't seem to understand that why this is not implemented to test it out for a year. You're saying that you want to talk to, or you've been having these conversations. How long these conversations are going to last, rather than implement and then take feedback and say, yes, it worked, no, it didn't work. But what I can't seem to understand is when we put the plan together, or when the plan was put together, it's easy saying Festival Republic that it's their problem or they need to know. It's a highway issue. So why were they not allowed to use the bus route? If they weren't, I fully understand this, but why haven't we then, as highways, explored this rather than sit and tether with it and say, it's Festival Republic?
Well, we have to look at the whole picture here. It's not just people travelling to the festival. It's people that are going about their normal daily lives and the impact that can have on them. It's well documented that as a general perspective, as a wider picture, the traffic management plan is working well. And everybody that sits here, the police say it, National Highways, myself, other councillors, that the plan is working well. So there is a bit of a, I won't call it a reluctance, that's not possibly the right word, but there's been no push for that this year from the tax representatives. There was no push about it in the debrief, and I'm mindful that if we change things, and it does have a negative impact, and it has a negative impact on a lot of the settlements around the festival, that won't be a positive move at all. But like I say, we will still work with the tax representatives and continue the subgroup meetings, so we can revisit it if that's what you would like us to do. If Festival Republic can set that up, we'll have the same talk again and we'll go through it. But there's a bigger picture than just the festival. There's all the outlying areas, the congestion to people that don't want to go to the festival. So there's a lot on the table here.
Yeah. So we have the subgroup. We'll address it then. I think it's important that surrounding villages would have their say. So perhaps if we're going to bring that up as the number one on the agenda for the taxi subgroup, then perhaps Councillor Harrington might want to attend that subgroup to be able to have some input.
That would be very helpful, Chair. Thank you.
Anybody? Any other questions? Did you get that, Georgie? Taxi subgroup. Put the top of the agenda. We can talk about it then.
Yes,
yeah. Yeah.
I think the other thing is picking up on Councillor Harrington's point, which is an important point. This year the buses came through Thorner, and that listening to Councillor Harrington's point, there is a desire that the bus routes wouldn't go through Thorner in 2026, in which case, if that is the case, they would use the old route, which included using the motorway, for example, and the Hackney carriages would be using exactly the same route in that circumstance, Councillor Ali, I believe. We'll continue to take it up with the taxi subgroup and the traffic group, but my thinking from what Councillor Harrington is saying is that opportunity won't be there anyway, really.
Yeah, and that makes sense. I think, from Councillor Ali's asked the question, I've asked the question. We have been. I think we've not acknowledged that Hackney Carriage is classified as public transport, and it's not just Leeds Festival. I think it goes much wider than that. That there's been a bit of oversight on that part, and there's obviously, as you can imagine, representatives from the Hackney Carriage trade are have been clear that we should be taking them in as a public transport provider and putting them in that mix. So I think it's worth having the conversation. As you say, it may all change anyway, and there may not be anything to discuss, but it's worth having the chat about it. Okay. I'm going to close there and say thank you to all of our guests for all of their time and all the fantastic work that you do to make this festival such a success. Councillors, we do have another agenda item, which is agenda item number 8. Before we move on to that, there are recommendations on page 13, which I know everybody will have read, and I'm looking for nods of approval that we take those recommendations and move on to agenda item number 8, please. Yeah. In which case... Yeah, sorry, my bad. I've completely forgot about the private session. We'll go very briefly into private session, given that we've got another item.
Chair, is that a dismissal for ourselves?
Kind of. I was going to thank you again and then let you go. Okay. Right. Yeah. Thank you for having the closed session. There wasn't much discussed. If anybody is watching online, as I'm sure you'll be able to tell by how short the interval was. Again, I just want to thank Festival Republic and all of our partner agencies that have attended here today for all their work in making this a successful and safe festival. We've already accepted the recommendation on page 13, and so I will close the item and move to agenda item number 8. We'll have a 5-minute comfort break in between. Thank you again, and see you all in August.
Chair, councillors, thank you very much.